Now we're going to take a look at how do we install a web server on our Raspberry Pi. A web server is a pretty handy application that allows us to serve up web pages, and we can in fact set up our web server and expose our Raspberry Pi to the internet and have it serve up our own personal website or domain. So that's pretty cool. And let's delve into how we can install a web server on our Raspberry Pi. So first, we'll be looking at a quick web server which actually can be up and running in just one line executed at the terminal. And it's actually the SimpleHTTPServer, and it's executed using Python. Before we do that, let's make a folder for our web server. And again, this can be anywhere on our file system. So I'm going to open up, let's open up a file manager here. And in here, we're going to go to the, let's say the downloads folder. And let's make a new folder in here called web server. So we're going to create a new folder and we're going to call it web server. And inside this folder, this will be sort of the home path or the root of our web server. And the cool thing about SimpleHTTPServer is it can have your home directory virtually anywhere on your system once you navigate to the specific spot that you want to start up that web server from. So in here, let's go to our terminal and we can navigate. We're going to do a cd tilde, and again that's going to get us of course to our /home/pi directory, and then we can go into the downloads directory, and here as you can see that web server directory we created. So I'm going to go into that web server directory and let's create an index.html file, and this is sort of just the main file that's going to show up by default when we load our web server URL in a browser. So I'm just going to do a nano index.html, and then here I'm just going to put this is our really cool web page. Alright, something very simple. You can put any text that you want in here. I'm going to hit Control X to exit. I'm going to type in Y to save and enter. And if you look here, now in our web server folder, we'll have that index.html file. So to get our web server running, we simply first navigate to the directory that we want to be our root directory, or where we want our files accessed from, and we're going to run this command, python -m and SimpleHTTPServer. Notice the uppercase here. You have to make sure that the case matches because Linux is of course case sensitive. So go ahead, and once you enter that command, you can hit enter, and what it does is actually fires up a web server, an HTTP server on port 8000 using this home pi downloads web server directory as the root directory. So now I'm going to open up a browser, and once my Chromium browser fires up here, I can do localhost and just put in 8000, and if I hit enter, our web page comes up. So that's really cool. You can navigate to anywhere on your file system and execute the command to start up the SimpleHTTPServer, and you have a web server. You can also access this anywhere on your network by using your IP address. So again, here my IP address is 10.0.0.117. So if I do 10.0.0.117, and remember I have to put my port as 8000, it brings up the web page. So any device that's connected to your network can fire up and access your web content on port 8000 from your SimpleHTTP server. Very cool and very quick way to get your web server up and running. One thing I'll also like to mention is if you look at the terminal, as your SimpleHTTP server is running, you'll notice that when requests are made, you'll see the logs being spit out here on the terminal screen. So notice if I refresh my page here, you'll actually see that GET request and with the 200 status code being returned. That's showing up because currently in this session or in this particular terminal tab, the server is running. If I want to stop it, I just do Control-C and that stops my server from running. And now if I try to refresh this page, as you'll see, the site would be down. So there you have it. That's how you can quickly start up your SimpleHTTP server and stop it.